Welcome back to Cyber Chat Episode 10. Hashtag the Catholic Church on Safeguarding Children.
And let us also welcome our special guest, the Head of Humanitarian Response and the Safeguarding Point Person of Caritas Philippines.
The Sectoral Working Group member of Caritas Internationalis on Safe and Dignified Programming.
Welcome, Ma'am. Ma'am Jeannie Coriano. It sounds like, samyupsal. Hindi, Coriano. Okay.
Annyeonghaseyo.
Annyeonghaseyo.
Isang malaya at mapayapang araw po, Jeannie. Welcome to Cyber Chat.
Yes, first time ko dito. Kaya medyo excited ako kung anong pag-uusapan natin and magandang araw po sa inyong lahat.
So before we mention and begin our main topic today, magkwento muna sa amin, Ma'am Jeannie, about a little of your background. How long have you been working with Caritas Philippines?
Okay, so nag-start ako sa Caritas Philippines nung panahon ng Yolanda, nung Hayan. So that time ay yung Caritas natin is very small lang in terms of number of staff. Pero later on, dahil kailangan ng mga humanitarian team, so I was staff. I was actually working in a different NGO then, international NGO. But I was staff na sabi ko, sige, kasi this one is gonna be different one. Kasi ito faith-based ang mangyayari. So, iba na yung approach. So, that's why, okay, I joined the Caritas Philippines. So, yun ang naging story ko. Pero before that, I've been working with the government organization.
So, you mentioned before joining Caritas, you were working in an international NGO and also a government agency. But can you tell us more about that? What were you doing exactly before you joined Caritas Philippines, ma'am?
Yeah, doon sa international NGO, actually, I was assigned in Ethiopia. Wow, oo. So I stayed there for a year as a volunteer first, and then later on, when I come back, nag-join ako sa team nila. And it's a humanitarian NGO. So, more or less, yung anong work ko ngayon, the same din sa ginagawa ng humanitarian NGO na ito. And then for the government na one, kasi ako, I am a nurse by profession. Nurse by profession, but then again, I do, kasi yung public health. So, I took my, alam mo na, yung mga masteral natin, it's more on epidemiology naman. So, and the DRI na rin. So, that's why sabi ko tuloy-tuloy na ito, it's really more on public health talaga community-based talaga yung approach natin. So, kaya nandito pa rin ako hanggang ngayon. And I love it, na? I think yan siguro yung calling natin Di ba, attorney, pag ikaw yung calling mo
I love how you said you love it. So, you're really coming from a place of passion.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you consider it your passion, Jeannie?
Yes, working with the people. Yes. Iba talaga, di ba, Father, when you work with the community, iba talaga yung dating.
Mas nakababad kayo doon, kaya siguro parang merong sumisibol at saka nagpapatuloy ganun.
Yes, kasi I remember Pao sabi niya, nasa community gusto niya Naku Pao, when you work with the community, it's really different na.
Wow, talaga pong grabe yung energy ni Ma'am Jeannie, no? And makikita po natin, ang dami niya pong ginagawa, no? Before we dive deeper into that po, can you introduce yung Caritas Philippines sa ating viewers and what does it do?
Okay, now for a start, yung Caritas Philippines, hindi kami insurance group. I don't know if you heard about the health insurance. So, hindi ho kami gano'n. We are the Caritas Philippines. Kami yung Humanitarian Advocacy and Development Arm ng CBCP. So, our office is in the Intramuros. So, yun po, kasama ho namin doon yung iba't ibang komisyon ng Catholic Church natin. So, ano bang tinitingnan namin? We envision na magkaroon sana ng empowered and resilient Filipino communities. Kaya kami here sa Caritas, we still keep on doing lahat na sabi nga natin, it's really more on community-based talaga yung approach natin. So, we accompany the diocesan in terms of lalo na yung mga vulnerable communities. And of course, we facilitate yung mga responsive and sustainable social action programs. Na currently, we have 7 programs yung Caritas Philippines. Siguro pwede ko lang banggitin what are those 7 programs. So, meron kaming education program. Pero this time, meron kaming scholarship. Ang scholarship natin is a different one. Ang scholarship namin, ito yung mga academically challenged. So instead na sila yung mga matataas yung mga grado, dito naman binaliktad namin. Pero this time, we give allowances doon sa mga tutorials, sa mga tutors. So yun ang aming scholars. Meron rin kaming feeding program. Meron din kaming academy. So it's a training center. And of course, andito yung humanitarian, kasama ko nyo ako, and the justice and peace. So yan po. So we promote also collective and unified advocacy action doon sa mga different social, environment, and eco-political concern. And of course, we establish and strengthen local resource mobilization, which I think yun ang pinaka-challenge ngayon, the resource mobilization, how we do fundraising, which is lahat naman tayo, I think lahat ng organization, yun ang ating pinaka-challenge. Ano? And it has, the Caritas Philippines ay also a forefront of implementing programs on poverty alleviation, sustainable agriculture, yung nag-uusap tayo kanina about the sustainable agriculture, meron din tayo, and then the empowerment of women and children, and the ecology protection. Yun po muna sa ngayon ang ginagawa ng Caritas Philippines.
Yes. Tapos nabalitaan po natin na nagkaroon ng humanitarian conference, no? In Athens, Greece, and Caritas Internationalis last April this year. And you represent Caritas Philippines. What was the conference about?
Okay, the conference, this is actually a gathering of all the humanitarian organization, of all the Caritases. I represented delegates, one of the delegates ng Caritas Asia. Okay? So, 5 kami from the Caritas Asia, and of course, for the Caritas Philippines, I'm the only one. Now, the conference focuses on 2 key areas. Ito yung presenting and discussing the Confederation strategy, establishing a new humanitarian committee, and this committee will oversee and steer the implementation of the strategic orientation. Ito na yung sa humanitarian response, which is the saving lives, reduce risk, and rebuilding communities. So ito na yun yung pinag-usapan namin, maraming pagbabago in our community, Caritas Internationales. Now, what about the other local Caritas here in the Philippines? Kasi there are a lot Merong Caritas Cebu, Caritas Masbate, Quiapo, na maraming Caritases. And they're all under the same roof sa Caritas Philippines. So we are representing the CI doon sa Caritas Internationales. It's through the Caritas Philippines.
Parang what we hear is the church is really serious about safeguarding, prevention. How does it, if you can walk us, no? Sabayan kami sa, especially the first pillar, paano ba yung reporting of the abuse, mga ganyan, assisting them, no? Especially in an appropriate manner, no? Itong, especially how to report it to the proper, like let's say, sa simbahan nga, no, yung Caritas Philippines, ganyan. And then, apparently, you had also like a safeguarding and protection policy manual, no? So, paano po yung parang tawag natin rolling out or yung like to bring it to the attention, especially ng mga parokya, no, and the local church? And how is it being received, no, by our local church?
Oo. So, ngayon, dito natin sa Catholic natin, sa CBCP, di ba, meron na tayo ngayon Protection for Minors na commission. And then, we also have, in our different dioceses, meron na rin sila commission yung iba on safeguarding. Kaya, maganda, no? So, some of the dioceses already have it. Tapos, and ang role naman ng Caritas Philippines is ang more on the community. More yung sa mga church workers, more on doon sa mga binibigyan natin ng mga services. So if there's some kind of safeguarding issues or concern, we make sure na they know when to report, how to report, and what to report. So how we are doing that, ang ginagawa ko natin, continue yung ating training sa kanila, continue yung orientation through the diocesan staff. But then again, sabi nga natin, there's still a challenge kasi hindi pa lahat ay na-orient on it. No? And not everyone in the dioceses ay merong safeguarding policy. So, the one that we gave, yung policy manual natin ng safeguarding, yun ang nagiging reference nila. Na if they want na magkaroon din sila ng sarili nila, then they can have that as a reference. And in case na kailangan nila ng assistance, they can just simply tap us and then we do the orientation. So, ganun po. Pero challenge pa rin. Marami pa rin gagawin. Marami pa.
Parang yung binanggit nating unang pillar, reporting, di ba? Pero apparently, you have started to have a policy manual, no? Siguro yung guidelines, how to go about it, no? Especially when there are reports, mga ganyan, about itong mga abuses, ganun. I was wondering, paano po ninyo parang, apparently there's orientation, no, mga ganyan. How is it being like rolled out, or how do our parishes or diocese, how have you started, parang ganyan, the orientation to our, kasi malaki itong, di ba, yung simbahan at saka yung mga diocese and parishes. How did you start the, yung mga orientation?
Yeah, so as mentioned earlier, some of the dioceses meron talagang commission, no? So yung mga dioceses natin. But for the others, yun pa yung challenge natin, which is so far wala pa silang, hindi pa wala. Kumbaga, it's still nasa pipeline pa siguro nila yung pag-develop nitong manual or the safeguarding procedures and guidelines. So what we did, we come up with sa Caritas Philippines na guidelines, and then we integrate yung mga different procedures and guidelines din ng Caritas Internationales on safeguarding. So with that, nagkaroon din ng nilagay ho natin yan sa manual, and then meron din yan na with the board resolution ng BOT ng Caritas Philippines. And yan ay pinag-distribute or disseminate natin doon sa ating mga dioceses. And sabi na natin, di ba, we have 85 dioceses. So, hindi pa namin masaturate lahat. But then, the manual was distributed isa-isa sa kanila. Now, ngayon ba sila lahat nakapag-orient na? Masasabi ko, hindi lahat. Hindi pa lahat. Pero we are into that because we just had our first safeguarding training through our Caritas Academy last year. So, kasama nga ho kayo doon, no? And then, you are the one who nagkaroon ng session on the online naman sa sexual exploitation and abuse online. So, it's really very uplifting din doon sa mga participants, lalo na sa mga diocesan level. In the pipeline din, kasama din, in-integrate din natin yung safeguarding sa lahat ng humanitarian aid training natin, which we are saturating sa lahat ng mga dioceses natin. So, sabihin na natin na naka 50% na kami, pero still more, marami pa rin ang pwede namin gawin. And marami pa tayong gagawin na magkasama. For sure, in the future, marami pa tayong gagawin.
Ako, I can imagine during disasters, sa mga evacuation shelters, children and the vulnerable are at risk for sexual abuse. Can you describe some prevention protocols based on the safeguarding policy manual?
Bago mo sagutin yan, Jeannie, mag-break muna tayo kasi mukhang mahaba-haba at very interesting conversation ito. We will be right back.